sorry, muffins. Nope, wrong way. Okay, so we just talked about karyotypes, right? Okay, I know this is kind of hard to see, but can anyone tell me, you guys talked about the lion wolf, right? That had 38 chromosomes. Can anyone tell me how many chromosomes humans should have?
46.
Very good. Yes, 46. Or 23 what? 23
Male.
pairs, right? Each one, like Ms. Roach said, comes from your mom and one comes from your dad. So they pair up, right? And one can be your hair color, your eye color. Do you have freckles? Are you tall? Are you tan? Do you have curly hair, straight hair, whatever, right? So this one is a male karyotype, again, of a human, okay? What do you notice about our last two? It's XY. Very good. Now, this is a female karyotype. I know it's kind of hard to see and it's kind of wonky because chromosomes aren't always straight. Okay, when you film them and when you take a picture of them, they're not always straight. What do you see? Can anyone see over here what genotype a female will have? It's not XY, but it's what? No. XX. Very good. You can remember that by saying that women are experts, okay, because we have two X's, males have an XY. All right, good, perfect. You guys told me that we should have 46. So what do you think is going to happen if we don't have 46? What if I have 45 chromosomes? Or what if I have 47 chromosomes? What does that, not necessarily that, but what is that called? That could be Down syndrome. Okay, it could be Patau syndrome, it could be Crigler-Chad, it could be a whole slew of things. Okay, but that is a genetic disorder. Very good, it's a mutation. If you have an extra chromosome or a one less, okay, that's going to be considered a genetic disorder. Very good. All right, so have you guys ever heard of the word genome before? Okay, genome, what it is basically, if you guys could do this, I did this. Okay, when I was having my kids, I actually had my blood taken, and they're able to take my blood, separate it from my baby's blood, and they take out your DNA. And your DNA tells you, again, what hair color, eye color. They couldn't tell me what hair color and eye color my children were going to have, but they could tell me whether or not my potential child could possibly have a genetic disorder. Okay, so I actually had this done for both myself and my two children. Okay, and again, they will look at all of your chromosomes, and if there's an extra one, or if there's one less, or okay, you can have a piece missing, you can have an extra piece of a chromosome, okay, it could be extra big or extra small. All of those would be considered a genetic mutation. But back to genome, now this is the human genome. If they were to take your blood or any of your cells and remove your DNA, they put it in something called a centrifuge, which just spins it really fast, right? And then they put them in size order, like you guys said, the patterns, and they match them up. That would be considered your genome. It says everything about you, okay, in your DNA. All right? So, we know that the study of this has to start with our chromosomes. Okay, that is the teeny tiniest little piece. It's our DNA that's wound up really tight, and our chromosomes tell us everything about us. Okay, again, why you look the way you look, again, your height, eye color, freckles, you have a widow's peak, hitchhiker's thumb, all of those things. So again, this is called a karyotype. We already talked about that, so I'm not going to delve too much into that. And again, you guys figured out when we were looking at our lion cub that it goes by decreasing size, right? Which one is the biggest? The first one, right? Okay, and we talked about the last pair sort of looking different. Okay, so 1 through 22, these are all of our somatic cells, okay, and these are our somatic chromosomes, and then here we have our sex cells. Okay, our sex chromosomes. The last pair always tells the sex of the person, the lion, the dog, cat, whichever genome you are looking at. Okay, so again, when I was pregnant with my two kids, They took my blood when I was about 8 weeks pregnant. Okay, when you're 8 weeks pregnant, some people don't even know that they're pregnant. And they took out some cells, took out the DNA, and they were able to tell me that I was having either a boy or a girl, okay, at 8 weeks, okay, when my baby was the size of a sesame seed. So, this is pretty cool. Again, I'm sure when you guys are ready to have kids that they'll have something even cooler. All right, so they are stained. Now these are black and white, okay, because when you film them, they don't always have color, but I'm going to show you some karyotypes with color. They stain the band patterns, and they can detect an abnormality. All right, so this is just really how they take a blood sample from a karyotype. To make a karyotype. You don't need to know this, okay? But if you are wondering how they do it, again, they simply take your blood, they spin it down, and they get all of the different parts of your blood separated from each other. Okay, here's your plasma, then you have some other cells, and then you have your red blood cells. And from there, they can take out your DNA, and then they can make this beautiful karyotype. Now, this is, again, it's small, it's in the right-hand corner, but I'm going to show you one right here. Now, you can see this is all very pretty. Okay, you can see that, these two are pink, these two are bluish green. There might show a genetic disorder based on whether or not some of these band patterns are missing. Okay, so looking at this, can anyone tell me, is this the chromosome, are these chromosomes from a normal, quote unquote, normal human? Or do they have a genetic disorder somewhere? What do you think? Where? Which one would it be? Okay, this one looks very good, like it's missing a little piece. As you can see here, okay, that little pink piece is missing. Okay, now we don't know what that is. There are some genetic disorders that we just don't know why they're caused. Okay, but there are some genetic disorders that we do know exactly what the reason is, what the chromosome that causes the genetic disorder, and we're just going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, I only have a couple more slides for you guys. I know it's hard to sit here, so after I go over this, I'm going to explain what you guys are going to do, and then from there, we're going to go to our lab tables, or we might set our receipts, I'll figure it out, and you guys are going to actually get a karyotype. Okay, you're going to get a karyotype, and then you're going to analyze it. Okay, what's the first thing that you think that a geneticist does when it has all of these chromosomes? They don't come like this, right? They don't come like this out of your body. Okay, they're all sort of tiny little pieces that are cut out. What's the first thing I'm gonna do? Okay, that's good. What else? What else do you think I'm gonna do? Again, you told me, yes. Make sure there are 22, okay, and then what's the third, the last pair? The X and the Y, so a total of 23 pairs, right? So I'm gonna count them up. Then what am I gonna do after I count them up? What do you think? Someone said something. Yes, ma'am. Yes, very good. But before that, before we figure out if we have a genetic disorder, what did you tell me the pattern was?
Oh,
biggest to smallest, right? And how many of the chromosomes are together? 2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take all my chromosomes, I'm going to pair them up, and then from there, I'm going to put them in size order, right? Number 1 is the biggest, number 22 is the smallest, and then we have our last 2, which could either be XX for female or XY for male. Very good. All right, so here is this could be considered, again, a normal karyotype, but based on the piece that's missing, I would say it's abnormal. All right, look at these 2. Okay, there's one in blue and there's one in yellow. Which one belongs to a male and why? Blue, why? Very good. And if you look at the last one, he has an X and he has a Y. Okay, what do you notice about the yellow one? It doesn't have Y, right? Females do not have that Y chromosome component. Okay, you get 2 X's. You get an X from your mom, you get an X from your dad, then you're a female. Again, you always get an X chromosome from your mom, and you can get an X or a Y from your dad based on the genetic makeup. Okay, so, good. All right, like I said, whoops, go back. Girls are experts. Girls have XX, boys have XY. I don't know what that's doing. Anyway, okay, so look at this karyotype right here. Is this normal? Why or why not? Brody.
21 has 3 different dots.
Very good. So this is, yes, sir?
It's missing.
It is missing.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's not. It's just up here. Just up here. Okay, that was good though. So Brody said that it has 3 on the 21st chromosome. Okay, Juliana said that it was missing the sex chromosomes, but they're just up here. Is this male or female? Female, because we have 2 X's. Okay, this is what is known as a trisomy 21. Trisomy 21, if you have 3 chromosomes on your 21st chromosome, 3 pairs, or triads, if you will, that denotes Down syndrome. So anybody that is, anybody that has Down syndrome, they have an extra chromosome on their 21st chromosome. That will give you things like, slower retention. They they have a lot of the same facial features. It also gives you a lot of heart issues. One of my good friends, her son has Down syndrome, and he had to have heart surgery, like open heart surgery, when he was just a tiny little baby. They tend to have heart defects too. So whatever deformity, genetic deformity, this extra chromosome, it affects their heart. B, you have a question?
Yeah, what happens to the chromosomes when there's twins and they look the same?
That's a good question. Okay, so not to go off on a tangent, but I'll just explain really quick. Okay, B said, what happens to twins? Okay, so there are 2 types of twins. Do you know what are the 2 types? Amira? Fraternal and identical. So, a fraternal twin are 2 separate people, right? Fraternal twin they have 1 egg sac here, you have 1 egg sac here. It's just the mom she has both babies in her tummy at once, but they are separate, okay? They're separate. Now an identical twin, there will be 1 egg sac, right? And for whatever reason, it just splits. So, do twins have the same DNA, yes or no?
No.
If they have 1 egg sac and it splits and it's identical, yes, very good. They're genetically, identically the same. Yes, sir.
My dad and my uncle
Are identical?
are identical.
So if you were to look at their genome, do they look exactly the same or they have tiny little differences? Tiny little differences, yeah. And that's because when your body reads the genetic code, sometimes there are just tiny little differences that will make people different, right? But they pretty much look exactly the same. You know that if you have a twin in your family, you're more likely to have twins when you decide that you want to have kids? Yeah. So anyway, that's very good. So did that answer your question, B?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me just show you really quick. This is an example of a mutation. Does anybody know what this genetic disorder is called? Yes. Albinism. Very good. This is where your body lacks pigment. Okay, your skin cells lack pigment. Okay, you do not have that pigment called melanin. People who have more melanin are darker. Okay, you go out in the sun, you put on some tanning oil, you get tan. That's because your body is producing more melanin. Okay, the least amount of melanin, the less melanin you have, the lighter or fairer your skin is. Again, I'm not in my tan mode right now, but in the summer I get pretty dark. And your body is pretty good at realizing that, oh, okay, I need to start producing melanin to protect me from the sun. Okay, so this is called albinism. Again, these people who are diagnosed with albinism, they are not able to produce the pigment melanin. All right, so I'm not going to go through all of these genetic disorders. Okay, I'm just going to show you basically what we're going to do, and then from there, you guys are going to try and figure out anything you can figure out, right? So you guys know that how many total chromosomes should humans have? 46. If you have 45, 47, What is that? A genetic disorder, right? Okay? So, when you get your, I'm gonna hand out your little things, they're little baggies with chromosomes in them. What's the first thing you're gonna do? Count them, then what? Pair them, and then size order. Very good. Okay? And that will make you a geneticist. Okay? And then from there, you can figure out. You don't need to know what genetic disorder it is. You don't need to know that it's a trisomy 21. You don't need to know that it's albinism or that it is Down syndrome. But you do need to know whether or not there is a genetic disorder present. Capiche? Any questions, guys? Do you have any questions about genetics or anything like that? No? Perfect. All right. Good. How long was that?